papers of the different agencies, no? They submitted, and very briefly, ang sinasabi rito, they're all in agreement, they support your bill, ano? Only, meron sila mga comments. Ang common comment dito, hindi masyadong defined yung role, no, ng ibang allied agencies like the PNP, the NBI, BOC, AFP, and so forth and so on. So, without much ado and not to waste too much time, I'll give you the floor so you can articulate yung content ng iyong bill. You have the floor, Senator Soto.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to everyone. I would like to apologize to the chairman, first of all, because I was not able to attend the first hearing, thinking that I was able to explain the intention or the intent of Senate Bill number 3 during our last meeting. But I forgot that our last meeting was held in Camp Crame and only the PNP were there. But you headed the meeting together with Senator Nasa, and I think I was able to explain mostly the intention of Senate Bill number 3. So I failed to explain it fully in the first public order dangerous drugs committee meeting. So I apologize for that. So thank you now for giving me the chance to elaborate more.
You can also propound questions.
Oh, yes, yes, I will. I hope, but I hope I can have enough time to explain. During that meeting, we agreed that, well, of course, let me say it outright. The Senate Bill number 3 is not written in stone. No, we will be hearing your comments, and we will be able to perhaps make it better, if not the best. No, it is an offshoot of what has transpired in the last 14 years after the Dangerous Drugs Act created the PIDEA, and upgraded the Dangerous Drugs Board. There were pitfalls, there were issues, and I think the SB number 3 intends to cure or to correct some of that, most of that. First, we agreed with Senator Lacson and Senator Nasan and members of the PNP that Senate Bill number 3 will be called the Presidential Drug Enforcement Authority. That was the original proposal in 2001 when I'm sorry, originally 1992 when I first proposed this after a successful formula in Quezon City. We will call it the Presidential Drug Enforcement Authority. Now, why SB number 3? The intention of the creation of the PIDEA and the upgrading of the Dangerous Drugs Board in 2002, I think, was misinterpreted and not executed fully to its real intention. We wanted then to we wanted to create a structure, in 2002, that will be able to execute.
Sorry, I failed to mention the presence of Governor Bichara, Executive Director ni Governor Bichara. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. As I was saying, the structure was created to execute the 4 major concerns or a holistic approach in fighting the war on drugs. And most of you who have been fighting this know that we cannot win this with enforcement alone. It has to be enforcement, prosecution, prevention or preventive education, and rehabilitation. It has to be this 4-way approach. Second ranking would be alternative development, perhaps. But the 4 major concerns were the real intention or the address of the creation of the PIDEA before and the upgrading. Now, what happened was somewhere along the way, PIDEA became an agency of its own. It is supposed to be the enforcement arm of the DDB. But there was a detachment somewhere along the way. Even when I became chairman of the DDB, I noticed that, there was no harmony. When the PIDEA was supposed to be the enforcement arm of DDB. Now, DDB has its faults. Why? According to the law, they should meet once a week. At the very least, once a month, but the law says once a week. They never met. They met twice a year. 3 times a year, maximum. The only time they met monthly was when I became chairman, because I insisted. I told the president then that I wanted the department secretaries to attend. Our problem then perhaps was creating a DDB that had 17 departments and represented by the secretaries. It was like a cabinet meeting. Lagi walang quorum. Yeah, so you see the problem that we encountered, no? And then the enforcement of PIDEA was not really coordinated with the PNP or the NBI. Somehow it was, but it was not fully coordinated. When the real intention of the creation of PIDEA was like USDA, it will have supervision, but the PNP will be the anti-illegal drug group and perhaps units of the NBI or even the armed forces. Parang yung USDA dito, for so long a time, there were only USDA in the country, but they were effective. Ganun ang ganun yung strategy talaga originally, no? The only time that an elite force of PIDEA should be used is when the area is compromised. Other than that, it should be the PNP for enforcement. Now, the problem also, again, it was misinterpreted because ang prosecution, it was left fully to the DOJ. No coordination whatsoever with the enforcement arms. So what happened? Right now, 74% dismissal of drug cases. Even before that, more than 80% dismissal of drug cases. In the last 6 years, it was the worst. And in the last 6 years, they even removed an executive order by then President Macapagal, which used a circular by Secretary Simeon Datumanong that all drug cases dismissed shall be automatically reviewed by the Office of the President. The circular na ganun at may executive order na ganun, it was removed in the last 6 years. So, lalong lumala yung dismissal ng cases. No? Then, why? It was not coordinated. Pag sinita mo yung mga prosecutor, ano na nangyari? Sasabihin sa akin, sir, yung mga PIDEA nyo, tsaka mga polis nyo, di marunong mag-file ng kaso eh. Di marunong mag-prepare ng kaso. Pag sinita mo PIDEA, sinita mo polis, ano nangyayari? Di na kayo marunong mag-file ng kaso. Ang sagot sa akin, hindi sir, yung mga prosecutor nyo, nalalagyan. Nakita nyo yung miscode. Ano? So, that is only 2 of the aspects. What about prevention and preventive education? Right now, I think the PNP is preparing a preventive education campaign. That's good, but that's not their work. Hindi sa kanila dapat yun, dapat yun sa DepEd eh. Hindi ba? Oh, even the preventive education campaign should be in all schools. Drug abuse resistance education should have in all grade 6 levels. Why grade 6? Because they're about to turn teenagers. Yun yung dapat na hindi na curious. Dapat alam na nila na masama ang droga, hindi dapat. Kaya doon ang prevention campaign. And then the 4th, rehabilitation. Wala rin siya yung PIDEA, wala rin siya yung DDB. Wala rin siya yung PNP. Bakit? Nasa DOH. Hindi priority ng DOH. It's a good thing that Dr. Reyes, who was a member of the DDB then, who is now chairman of the DDB, I congratulate you for that, understands the plight. Di ba? Tama yung sinasabi ko. Hindi naging priority ang rehabilitation. Kaya ilan ang rehabilitation center in the country? When I was DDB chair, 48. Ang accredited lang ng DOH, 13. Can you imagine that? Oh. So, kaya tayo kulang na kulang ngayon. And so, the intention of Senate Bill number 3 is to correct all of this by upgrading the DDB and the PDEA into a Presidential Drug Enforcement Authority under the Office of the President. With the President like President Duterte, this will work. I am sure this will work. Now, we will hopefully accept your proposals or the other intentions, I'm sorry, the other concerns that you might have. But as I said, hopefully we will be able to craft, the committee of Senator Lacson will be able to craft a bill that will address this particular problem and hopefully win the war on drugs. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Soto. I'd like to also welcome Senior Deputy State Counsel. Kala ko, Chief State Prosecutor ka na, Dong. Senior Deputy State Counsel. Dong Padulyon, welcome to this hearing. We will also continue the discussion on Senate Bill number 8. Yun yung Affordable Drug Rehabilitation Treatment for Philippine Health Insurance Corporation. Senate Bill 2148, ito yung sa wiretapping, no? And we were also in receipt of position papers from the different agencies do sa wiretapping. May question lang sa DOJ. You have a suggestion to apply the one-party consent rule. Hindi ba tayo madadali sa constitutionality nito? Kaya, kasi you submitted a position paper that you suggest, or you're suggesting the application of a one-party consent rule, meaning we will be allowed, or a law enforcement agent will be allowed to record any conversation without having to obtain a court order, so long as the agent is one party to the conversation, has number 2 has obtained the prior consent of one party to the said conversation.
Yes,
so kindly expound on this.
Mr. Chairman, actually, this will be a relaxation of the stringent requirements under Republic Act 4200. But this is already being practiced in the U.S. So I believe that given some provisions to safeguard our constitutional rights, we could pass this without any problem that it is unconstitutional or violative of the due process law or of any of the rights of the accused or of any particular person.
Thank you, sir, for your response. So, kailangan pa rin ng consent ng other party na nasa other end of the line, hindi na. One party lang.
One party nga lang.
So, binigyan ko ng staff ko ng note dito, no? It might violate Section 2, Article 3 of the Constitution against unreasonable searches and seizures, and Section 3(1) of the same article of the yung privacy of communication. Baka doon tayo madali.
Opo, but
Siyempre gusto rin natin, lalong gusto ng law enforcement agency ito. Gusto rin namin suportahan ito, but then without the consent of the other party, you're intruding into into his privacy, so to speak.
that's right, Mr. Chairman, but there must be really some safeguards that must be placed, which should be approved by the court. Since must be approved by the court. Since
Kailangan pa rin ng court order.
yes, Mr. Chairman.
Well, if there is a court order, we don't even need the one-party consent rule because after we secure the court order, after we have satisfied all the requirements to secure a court order, hindi na natin kailangan yung one-party consent rule, Mr.
Yes,
Secretary.
but if there is no court order, the law might require the two-party consent. So in this case, the court's discretion will be limited as long as there's one party giving consent.
Thank you, sir. Senator Nasan, you have some questions?
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Secretary Aguirre, would you have records of how many drug cases were filed in the last 5 years?
Yes, Senator Soto.
Would you please inform the committee?
Pinakita mo sa akin kanina. May I read for the record, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Senator? In 2011, there was a total of 14,015 cases, and we have conviction in court of 707. 2012, 16,337 with conviction, 16,337 with conviction of 693. 2013, 697 cases with conviction of 711. In 2014, there were 31,505 cases with a conviction of 589. In 2015, we have 43,462 cases. 2015, 43,462 with conviction of 782 cases. The 5-year total is that we have 126,016 cases.
And the resolution rate? Or the total of convictions?
The total conviction numbers
Wala pang
we
5,000.
have only 3,482 convictions, Mr. Senator.
So the total is 126,000
6,016 cases.
and 3,000 convictions,
3,482 convictions.
482 convictions. What happened to the 123,000? They left the country?
We have a breakdown, Mr. Senator. I think
Same was it, for the record.
Prosecutor Padulyon could better answer it.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
So with respect to the cases filed from 2011 to 2016, majority of them, informations have been filed in court. For 2011, we have a total of 13,126 cases which were filed in court. In 2012, the department had about 15,466 informations filed in court. In 2013, there was about 19,261 cases filed in court. In 2014, 30,461 cases filed in court. 2015, 155 cases filed in court. And in 2016, as of August 15, 2016, we had filed 16,123 cases, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman, what happened to the circular that I was talking about coming from the time of Secretary Datumanong, that all drug cases should be automatically reviewed by the Office of the President?
Sir, if I may, the circular that is now in effect as far as automatic review is concerned, sir, pertains to the delegated power of the Secretary of Justice to conduct the same, sir. So cases which are dismissed in the field offices of the department are the ones which are elevated for automatic review by the Secretary, through the Secretary of Justice, Your Honor.
So you're now following that procedure?
Yes, sir. Per Department Circular 006, this is series of February 10, 2016.
2016?
Yes, sir.
So before that, the circular that was enforced, you're no longer following that?
No, sir. As far as I can remember, sir, because I have just been appointed recently as a task force chair of the anti-illegal drugs cases. Cases for automatic review were always with the Office of the Secretary, even up to the time, during the time of then Secretary Raul Gonzalez, sir. Sir, automatic review of cases dismissed in the field offices were reviewed and filed with the Department of Justice to the Secretary of Justice, sir.
May I interject, Your Honor? Would you know kung kailan na bigyan ng parol si Odicta? Under whose watch? Kung alam mo lang, if you're sure to answer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I don't
As I
have that
understand,
information.
he was a convicted drug suspect, hindi ba? And we just learned that he was out of Muntinlupa. So he must be pardoned or given parole. And kung alam mo lang, Attorney.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I don't have that information right now, but I can try to secure that for you, sir.
Please secure the information.
Yes,
I'd like
Mr.
to acknowledge the presence of Director General De La Rosa and also sa yung barangay, Liga ng mga Barangay, Attorney Edmond, and also Julius Walteros. You're representing the Municipal League of Cities. So, I'd like to take advantage of your presence, pati si General De La Rosa, para isama na sa agenda itong two bills that I filed. One is Senate Bill 971. With your permission, Your Honor. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator De Lima. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Senate Bill 971, essentially, it is an amendment to the provisions of 8551, the amendatory law of 6975. Ito, will take your position on this, because ang amendment dito, basically, provincial director shall be chosen by the regional director from a list of 3 qualified and eligible candidates recommended by the PNP Senior Officers Placement and Promotion Board. And then the chiefs of police of municipalities and cities will be chosen by the provincial director. It goes without saying that the chief PNP has the override, the veto power over those to be chosen by the regional directors and the provincial directors. In effect, it is removing from the local executives yung power to choose from a list of 3 and 5 candidates respectively. I'm sure there will be some violent reactions from the local executives present, but this is a bill that I filed kasi lagi nagkakaroon ng animosity, hindi ba? And the PNP has always a way of going around this provision by just appointing OICs. Hindi ba? Ganun ang nangyayari. But this is not to remove your operational control because after all, you are the chief executives of the provinces and the cities and municipalities. So nandun pa rin yung the power to employ and deploy. Ang inalis lang natin dito, yung the PNP will have to go through the exercise of submitting to you, to the local executives concerned, a list of 3 and 5 recommendees, para ma-facilitate yung performance nila, yung law enforcement duties nila. Sila na mamimili. After all, they know their people more than the local executives, and para mawala na rin yung patronage politics. Kasi ang nangyayari, sa halip na lumapit sa PNP, sa promotions board, at tingnan yung merits, ang pinupuntahan ng mga pulis natin, yung mga mayor sa mga governors And sometimes, nagkakaroon ng animosity pagka nagkaroon ng appointment as OIC na hindi napili ng governor, naku, away na. So affected yung law enforcement function. And more often than not, pagka nag-flex ng muscle yung mayor o yung governor, inaalis pa yung mga baril na in-issue, inaalis pa yung mga sasakyan. No, I know this for a fact because I've experienced this. And I know the predicament of the PNP leadership on in this regard. Another bill that I filed, request ito ng CIDG when we visited them last August 15, kami tatlo, Senate Bill 1052. I-restore lang yung subpoena power ng CIDG director. After all, when it was still CIU and CIS, meron silang subpoena power. But I think this was an oversight when the ones who crafted the Republic Act, yung PNP Law 6975, nakalimutang ilagay. And NBI has that authority to issue subpoena. Administrative subpoena lang naman ito. Hindi ito yung wala itong contempt. There is no contempt power, no? Just the subpoena authority. Para lang mas maging efficient, mas maging effective yung CIDG director in its law enforcement function. So, I'd like to recognize we'll hear your comments afterwards, ano? Bigyan ko lang ng floor kay Senator Honasan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Aguirre,
Senator.
good morning po. Please educate us on the issue I want to raise, taking off from the issue raised by our chairman. Ano ho ba ang quantum of evidence required para payagan ng korte yung wiretapping? Dahil linagay ko namin sa bill namin, no? I'm referring to proposed Senate Bill 21 and 48. Is it going to be mere suspicion or probable cause? Sa bill ho namin, linagay namin probable cause. Pero let me explain, give me a little time to explain. No? Mabuti ho si Senator Lacson at saka si Senator Soto, may ground time sa anti-drug operations. No? One lifetime ago, when we were assigned to the Ministry of National Defense, we went against drug traffickers also. Hindi pa uuso nun yung shabu. So, heroin, cocaine. Can you imagine ho, ang feeling ko no? Army officer. I did not even know what cocaine or heroin looked like. But I raised this issue because this might be material to our operators on the ground. Panahon ho namin to, that's about 30, 40 years ago. We're operating under a window. Huhulihin mo talaga yung conversation in that window. Of course, iba ho ang sitwasyon, no? We're under different circumstances. So, pag hindi ka nakapasok dun sa window, wala na. Because orders, instructions from the heads of the drug syndicates would be translated into action on the ground. Sa panahon ito, no? Sa mga sindikato. Kami naman ho, we operated under the... We tried to wiretap. Of course, we operated under the instructions of the Minister of National Defense. And ho, there seems to... We need to strike a balance between... So, tinatanong ko lamang po yun because I'm looking at this from the perspective of our operators. Where kailangan mahuli nila yung conversation within a window. Would this determination as a basis for a court order be material to that time variable? Would it matter if mere suspicion or importante yung probable cause para mahuli talaga natin yung conversation?
May I first go on the quantum of evidence necessary in some other cases?
Opo.
We know that in cases of in criminal conviction, it is proof beyond reasonable doubt. In civil cases, then preponderance of evidence only. Sino mas maraming or mas matindi ang ebidensya, then he will be the one to win in civil cases. Then in administrative cases, we have substantial evidence in order that the respondent in administrative cases would be given a penalty as called for by the law. In your case, I believe that it is mere existence of probable cause. And probable cause defined as such facts and circumstances that would lead a reasonable, prudent man to believe that a crime has been committed and that the accused or person in custody of the law is guilty, and there should be a case should be filed against him. This is in connection with the investigation, preliminary investigation of criminal cases before our prosecutors, before the Department of Justice and our Fiscal's Office. Now, in connection with this wiretapping act, we believe that the probable cause should be present before the judge or a court would allow the wiretapping or would issue the order to wiretap a certain conversation. In the United States, under Code 2518, which is the procedure for interception of oral, wire, or electronic communications, it is provided that 3. Upon such application, the judge may enter an ex parte order as requested or as modified, authorizing or approving interception of wire, oral, or oral electronic communications within the territorial jurisdiction of the court in which the judge is sitting. And outside that jurisdiction, a mobile interception device authorized by a federal court may be allowed. So, it is the judge that determines on the basis of the facts submitted by the applicant whether a probable cause is present. So, we believe that the wordings of the bill is correct, that it is only the quantum evidence as called for under the definition of probable cause.
Thank you, Secretary. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, one last comment. No? I just want to relate this ngayon, Secretary, no? Gentlemen, to the political window that is given to our police, to the NBI, even to the armed forces, who will, I understand, be involved in this. No? After it has been declared as a total war and practically a national security problem. Alam nyo, Secretary, I don't know when this political window will happen again in our lifetime. Actually, we raised this in another committee hearing, no? Inggit na inggit ho kami ni Senator Lacson kina General De La Rosa. Because the political leadership, I said, you do your job. Just don't give me any BS, no? You tell me the truth. No? You do your job, I will give the orders. And I will assume responsibility for the orders that I give you. That's why I ask Director General De La Rosa, may inutos ba sa inyong illegal or constitutional or yung alam mo yung to an operator, 1 second of hesitation is life and death. Pag medyo nag-hesitate ka o may duda ka dun sa sanity or the morality or the legality of the order, patay ho kayo. Senator Lacson and I, when we were in the armed forces, operated under that advantage. When we were given an order, alam nyo, Secretary, it was almost linear. Yun ang mission, yun ang dapat diretso, we never look back. Ngayon ho, we have that window. And I'm happy that General De La Rosa, no? I'm not doing this to, hindi naman ako nagpapalakas kay Bato, no? I'm happy that they recognize the fact that their job is to implement policy, not to explain policy. That is the job of the political leadership, the one giving the order. And categorically, the political leadership has said that he is, or the executive is assuming full responsibility for all these orders. I just put that on the table para we can reconcile what is required if we pass these laws, no? At operational level and the consistency that is required at political level. Salamat po, Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
May I have a comment, Mr. Senator? I believe I agree with you, and we have to take this opportunity that presents to us only at this very moment. So, as we say in the military, obey first, ask question later.
Salamat po.
Senator Soto is recognized.
Yes,
After
just one-
Senator Soto,
to
Senator De Lima.
Just to wrap up my issues with the Department of Justice. So, after receiving these statistics, so in the last 5 years, 3,482 convictions out of 126,000. How many cases were reviewed? How many dismissed drug cases were reviewed by the Office of the President through the DOJ Secretary?
Of the total, this is with respect to DOJ only, Mr. Senator. Of the total cases received from 2010 to 2016 as of July 31, we have received a total of 3,081 cases. The pending
81 cases.
automatic review
Automatic review.
is 1,581. The automatic review resolved is 1,469. And those pending with the motion for reconsideration with the Prosecutor General is 22. And the MR on the AA resolve or automatic resolve is 9. So,
Ano nangyari doon sa 1,469?
yun po ang question natin na hindi natin alam dito, these statistics na ito, whether those cases have been dismissed favorably or against the government.
Yeah, that's
Wala
what I
pong
wanted
picture
to know.
tayo
So,
dun
can your undersecretaries find out for us so that we can submit to the committee?
Yes, Your
Ano
Honor.
nangyari dito sa 1,469 na nireview?
Yes, Mr. Senator, we will submit the breakdown of the cases, how they were resolved.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Before I recognize Senator De Lima, bago lang iwanan yung wiretapping issue, yung PIDEA has, ang position nyo is mere suspicion, hindi ba? And I see your point because pagka probable cause nga naman, arestuhin na nila. They don't need a court order because once they have established probable cause, they'll just arrest the perpetrators or the offenders. Kaya ang position nila is a mere suspicion, pwede nang gawing basis to apply for a court order to wiretap communications. So, what's your comment, Secretary?
Mr. Senator, yung po kasing sinasabi ng probable cause, it is the amount of evidence to be submitted to the judge. In other words, this is not addressed to the law enforcement officers. Kukuha pa lang tayo ng the order to allow the wiretapping.
I would like to comment.
Yes, Your Honor. We recommended that the amendment of the anti-wiretapping law to the level of the exemption given to terrorism and the anti-kidnapping for anti-kidnapping cases, Your Honor. This will make the operation against drugs, against illegal drugs, to be more easier, Your Honor.
Well, instead of suspicion, maybe we can use the term reasonable ground to believe, no? And that's below the level of probable cause. Kasi for probable cause, we're talking of filing of information in court. Kailangan ma-appreciate. Kaya nga meron pang judicial determination of probable cause pagdating sa level ng korte. Pero yung reasonable ground to believe, ito yung old sa rules of court, di ba yung dating law enforcement officer may arrest on the basis of reasonable ground. Naalis na yun eh. Inaiba na yun kasi in his presence, has just been committed, about to be committed, nawala na yung reasonable ground to believe. But at least, when a law enforcement agent wants to secure a court order to wiretap communication, baka pwedeng gamitin na lang yung reasonable ground because we're crafting a law for the guidance of the judge who will issue the court order. Ako I'm in agreement doon sa proposal na ibaba na sa RTC. Kasi kung Court of Appeals, naisip ko lang kasi when I crafted the bill, sinunod namin sa Human Security Act or sa money laundering na kailangan Court of Appeals, but it's going to be a more difficult task to approach Court of Appeals divisions for that matter, no?
Opo, the problem there is that if we limit it to the RTCs, it will have limited territorial jurisdiction. So if the persons to be tapped, especially under our laws, which requires the, if there is consent required of both parties, one may be outside the jurisdiction of the RTC, then perhaps we could create a special RTCs which will have jurisdiction over the whole Philippines, just like the issuance of, not necessarily specific, we just empower some RTCs, just like in search warrants, where QC, the RTCs of Manila and Quezon City could issue search warrants that would be effective even outside the National Capital Region.
Yung ex parte is a no-brainer, ano? Kasi pagka naman nag-hearing pa yan bago ma-issue yung court order, eh, hindi na magsasalita sa telepono yung kausap mo. So it's a no-brainer, wala tayong issue doon. Ang issue lang dito, ano yung level ng, anong ground ang kailangan natin for the judge to be authorized under the law or under the amendment to issue a court order. Is it mere suspicion, reasonable ground to believe, probable cause, or kung anumang level?
We will have no objection, serious objection, if it will be lowered to mere suspicion or between probable cause and but above suspicion. So sa gitna.
Above suspicion and lower than
Lower than
probable
probable
cause.
cause.
Okay lang, Secretary. Thank you. Same point.
That's actually the same point I'm raising, although I still have questions really on that
morning,
point
Senator.
and another point. But I can
Mr. Chairman.
give way first to Senator Greg.
From my kabayan to just raise one point.
Sige po.
Secretary Aguirre, no, Sid, I just want to add this to the conversation. No? The intent, of our proposal was to ensure conviction. Yun ang intent namin sa bill, no? Doon sa wiretapping bill.
Yes, Senator.
To ensure conviction. Dahil we have been complaining na pagpasok ng ebidensya, either weak o hindi natin nahuli sa window. So, I just wanted to add that to the conversation para you, on the ground, who are better at this, no, can process this and make a technical proposal to your committee. Para we can decide kung suspicion ba talaga o probable cause. But the intent, if we project the trajectory of this, is to ensure conviction. Para wala na tayong bottleneck dun sa prosecution.
In other words, this is being made in order that this evidence, which is not allowed under Republic Act 4200, would be
airtight.
admitted in evidence.
Tuloy-tuloy po.
Opo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator Lai.
Sir.